You're mine now. The city never slept, but tonight, it felt like the world had forgotten her. Snow lashed against the streets, wild and unforgiving. The last bus had passed 20 minutes ago, splashing dirty slush across the curb without even slowing down. The digital sign on the shelter blinked delayed in red, mocking her. Emily stood alone, her hospital scrub soaked to the ankles. A thin jacket clutched around her trembling body. Her breath came out in shaky clouds. Her fingers were so numb, she could barely feel her phone anymore. Not that it mattered. Her battery had died hours ago. Somewhere between administering meds in trauma and helping deliver a stillborn child in maternity. 14 hours on her feet. No food, no break, no thanks. And now, this. She tightened her grip on her bag, as if it might somehow protect her from the storm, or the city. The hospital had let her go early, citing cutbacks. Translation: her supervisor, Dana, needed a reason to push her out after months of petty harassment and backstabbing whispers. They didn't want her there. And now she had nowhere to go. She blinked back tears. Not now, not here. She just needed to get home, and then headlights. A sleek, black car pulled up silently in front of her, its windows tinted too dark to see inside. It didn't belong here. Not in this neighborhood. Not at this hour. She took a careful step back, her heart pounding. The passenger side window rolled down just an inch. A voice, low, smooth, male, spoke from inside. You'll freeze too. Death out here. Get in. She stared, unsure if she'd heard right. I'm fine, she said, her voice a hoarse whisper. Not fine at all. The window rolled down a little more. She could now see the man's silhouette, crisp coat collar, sharp features, gloved hand on the wheel. You've been standing here for 47 minutes, he said. Your pulse is slowing. You're risking hypothermia. Emily's mouth parted slightly. How did he know that? Who are you? She asked. The car door opened. He stepped out into the snow, tall and immaculately dressed. The streetlight caught his face now, and it was a face she recognized. Reese Maddox. Her breath caught. He didn't need introduction. Tech mogul, billionaire, infamous recluse. The man who built the Maddox empire and tore it down just to rebuild it in his name. She'd seen his face in news headlines, whispered about in the nurse's break room. Now he was standing in front of her. Get in the car, he said again, calmer now. It's not safe for you here. I don't understand. Why are you here? How do you know my name? His eyes locked with hers. Because I've been watching you, Emily. Her body tensed. What? That's not funny. I'm not joking. She took another step back, panic setting in. But the snow was falling harder now, blurring the street behind her. Her body swayed slightly. She hadn't eaten in over 12 hours. Her vision swam. You're not safe, he repeated. And whether you believe me or not, I'm your only chance right now. She hesitated. The freezing wind howled around them. Her knees buckled slightly. And before she could resist, she felt his arms catch her, firm, strong, not unkind, and guide her into the car. The warmth hit her like a wave. The seats were heated. Soft music played low through hidden speakers. She tried to stay upright, clutching the armrest, staring wide-eyed at the man beside her. This is insane, she murmured. You're not wrong, he said dryly, eyes on the road as he pulled away. The city lights blurred past as he drove, smoothly through the snow-covered streets. She tried to speak, but her voice was failing. Her body was warming too quickly. The cold had gone deep. He handed her a bottle of water and what looked like a protein bar. You haven't eaten, he said. Your hands are shaking. You've been working non-stop. She took them, dazed. How do you know all this? She asked. He didn't answer. You've been watching me. She asked again, her voice sharper now, observing. He corrected. There's a difference. That's not comforting. A small smile touched his lips, barely there. I wasn't trying to be. They reached the outskirts of the city within 30 minutes. The car slowed as towering black gates opened in front of them. Beyond them stood a mansion carved from glass, steel, and silence. It didn't feel like a home. It felt like a fortress. Emily stared in disbelief. Inside, the house was cavernous. Marble floors, massive windows, an actual fireplace flickering in one corner. But something about it felt sterile. No photos, no warmth, just wealth and isolation. Why did you bring me here? She asked, still holding the protein bar untouched. Reese took off his coat and walked to the bar. He poured her a cup of hot tea, nothing stronger, because you were about to be silenced. Her head jerked up. What does that mean? You know something, or rather you saw something, at the hospital. I don't, not consciously, but your file was flagged. Your name popped up in a security feed I monitor. Wait, she stared at him. You monitor hospital files? Only specific ones. Emily. He stepped closer, eyes dark. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time. You saw a patient you weren't supposed to see, and now someone at that hospital wants you out of the way. No, that's not possible. I didn't see anything. I'm just a nurse. Exactly. Which is why no one would believe you if something happened to you. She dropped the cup. It shattered against the floor. Neither of them flinched. That night, Reese led her to a guest room, stark but warm, with clean towels, extra blankets, and a heavy wooden door. Lock it, he said before leaving. No one comes in here unless you want them to. Emily barely slept. Her mind wouldn't stop spinning. She tried to remember everything from the last few weeks. Had she seen something strange? She remembered a patient heavily bandaged, wheeled in late at night. No name, no chart, just a code number. She hadn't even gotten close. Dana had yanked her away. Wrong wing, she'd said coldly. Was that it? At 3:44 a.m., Emily slipped out of bed and padded barefoot down the hallway. She had to leave. This was too much, too fast. A billionaire claiming to protect her from some invisible enemy, watching her for weeks. No, she'd figure it out herself. Get a motel, call a friend, something. As she passed his office, she saw the door ajar. Curiosity got the better of her. Inside, the walls were lined with screens, surveillance footage, articles, files, all of them about her. There were images of her walking to work, laughing in the break room, crying alone behind the hospital's back exit. One photo stopped her cold, a framed photo of her as a child. At her mother's funeral, she stepped back, breathing hard. Emily. She turned. Reese stood in the doorway. What is all this? She asked, her voice hoarse. Proof, he said simply, that they've been watching you, too. You have a picture of my childhood. How is that even possible? You were adopted, weren't you? Her blood turned to ice. How do you know that? He stepped closer, slowly, carefully, because the patient you saw last week, the one with no name, no chart, wasn't a stranger. She shook her head. No, I didn't see him. Just a glance. He was your biological father, Emily. Silence fell like a stone. No, she whispered. That's not true. He died before I was born. My mom told me. She lied. Reese said gently, because she had to. Because he worked for people who don't forgive mistakes. And now they know you're connected to him. Emily's legs gave way. She collapsed into the nearest chair, staring blankly. I don't understand. You will, he said. But for now you need to trust me. Why are you helping me? She whispered. He hesitated, then knelt in front of her, looking her dead in the eyes. Because I owe your father my life. But Emily didn't sleep. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, heart racing. It couldn't be true. All of this, some invisible threat, a secret family, a billionaire guardian. No, she had to run. Think clearly, alone. She waited until dawn, slipped on her shoes, quietly left the room, down the stairs, through the side door, into the cold. She ran, tears streaming down her face. She didn't stop until her legs gave out. She collapsed behind a dumpster, gasping for air, lost in the snow. Then a shadow loomed above her, and a voice, one she hadn't heard in 14 years. Emily. She looked up, heart frozen. It was him, the man from the hospital. The man her mother said died before she was born. The man she buried. The world blurred. Emily stared at the man standing in front of her, soaked in shadow and snow. He hadn't aged, the way time demanded. His jawline was harder now, streaks of gray brushing his temples. But the eyes, those eyes were unmistakable. You're supposed to be dead, she breathed. He knelt down slowly, his voice low. I know what your mother told you. She was trying to protect you. I wanted that too. Emily scrambled backward on her hands, slipping on the icy ground. No, this is not happening. You died, in a fire. She showed me the death certificate. A forged one, he said grimly, burned in someone else's name. Why? She screamed, her voice raw. The man flinched, pain flickering across his face. Because I worked for people who don't let you leave. I faked my death to get out, but they never really let go. And now they know you exist. Emily's pulse thundered in her ears. Her teeth were chattering now, not from cold, but from the storm inside her. "You're my father?" she asked finally, the words choking out like poison. He nodded. "My name is Adrian West. I never stopped watching over you. I couldn't, but you did. You left. You let her raise me alone. You let her die alone." His face twisted with guilt. "I tried to come back when she got sick, but they were watching. Every move I made put you in danger. Reese found out before they did. That's why he stepped in." "Why would a billionaire care about some nurse he's never met?" She spat bitterly. "Because I once saved Reese's life. Years ago, before either of you were born. I didn't even know who he was then, but he remembered. He owed me a debt, and when he saw your name flagged in the system, he paid it." Emily shook her head. None of it made sense. "Not yet." "Why now?" she whispered. "Why are you suddenly here?" "Because they're closing in. The ones I ran from. They want me dead for real this time, and now they know you're connected to me. If they can't find me, they'll come for you." Back at Reese's mansion, the front gate had been left slightly ajar. Surveillance lights blinked erratically. Emily felt it the moment she crossed the threshold. Something was wrong. Reese was standing in the grand foyer, his shirt unbuttoned at the wrist, sleeves slightly rolled, as if interrupted mid-work. He looked at Adrian, then at Emily, then simply said, "They know." Emily's heart stopped. Who knows?" "The ones who erased your father. They've breached my firewall. They've seen your face." "Emily." He turned to Adrian, jaw tight. "You said you'd disappeared." "I did." "Well, someone found your footprints." Adrian nodded grimly. "Then we don't have much time." "What are they after?" Emily asked, stepping between the two men. "Me, him, both," Reese said. "But especially you." "Why me?" "Because," Reese said quietly, "your father stole something from them before he vanished. A data key, with secrets they've killed to protect. And before he disappeared, he hid it inside you." Emily blinked. "What?" Reese met her gaze steadily. Embedded in your bloodstream when you were a baby. Encrypted, untraceable." Your mother agreed. It was the only way to protect it and protect you. They'd never suspect a child. Her knees buckled. "So all this time, I was a hiding place." Adrian stepped forward. "You were always more than that. I did what I had to keep you safe. I didn't think they'd ever find you." "Well, they have," Reese said. "And they're not going to stop." By noon, the mansion's security was cleared. Reese had activated underground panic rooms, silent alarms, encrypted cell lines. Emily sat alone in the guest room, staring at her own reflection. She didn't recognize the woman staring back. Just hours ago, she'd been a tired nurse. Now she was a ticking time bomb, a secret worth killing for. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Her fingers trembled as she opened a drawer. Inside, Reese had left her a new phone encrypted, GPS disabled, and a note. "You're not alone. Not anymore." Or something about his handwriting calmed her. Steady, sharp, controlled, but she couldn't stop thinking about what he'd said, about what her father had done. "They put something inside me, without my consent, without my knowledge." Had she ever really had a choice in anything? That night, the storm outside had cleared, but the storm inside her was only beginning. Emily couldn't sleep. She wandered into the living room, expecting silence, but Reese was there, seated on the floor near the fireplace, a rare whiskey in hand, sleeves rolled to his elbows. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked without looking up. She shook her head. "I don't think I'll ever sleep again." He patted the floor beside him. "Sit." She hesitated, then sat. The fire cast golden light across his face. His expression was distant, his jaw tense. "You're angry," he said. "Wouldn't you be? Of course. You knew what I was, what they put in me. You knew all of it." He nodded slowly, double quotes. "Yes, I didn't expect you to find out like this. I was going to tell you, in time. Why didn't you just let me live my life?" she asked bitterly. "Why pull me into this?" "Because they were already watching. You just didn't know it." She swallowed hard. "Am I going to die?" He turned to face her, his eyes cold and clear. "Not while I'm breathing." They sat in silence. After a moment, she asked, "Why do you care so much? Is it just a debt to my father?" His gaze lingered on her a beat too long. Then, softly, "No." The fire crackled. Emily felt something shift, not just in the room, in her, in him. He leaned closer. "The world you knew doesn't exist anymore, but the one ahead. You don't have to face it alone." For a brief second, warmth pierced the storm. Then gunshots. 3 sharp cracks from the west wing. Reese shot to his feet. Stay here, he ordered, but Emily was already moving. Down the hall, around the corner, she saw the shattered window, broken glass, blood streaked across the marble, and Adrian, her father, on the ground, wounded, breathing shallow, his shirt soaked in crimson. Emily, he rasped. She dropped beside him, pressing her hands to the wound. No, stay with me please. They found us. Inside. One of Reese's guards. We need help. RHYS. Footsteps thundered behind her. Reese appeared, gun in hand. He dropped to his knees. Beside them. We have to move now. They're already in the system. He's dying. Emily cried. Reese looked at her, then at Adrian. There's a facility. Off-grid. We can stabilize him there. But we have to leave now. Emily grabbed her father's hand. Don't you leave me again, she whispered. I won't, Adrian murmured. But if I don't, make it Reese knows what to do. No more secrets. You tell me now, what is this drive inside me? What are they after? Adrian's eyes locked with hers. Blood seeped through his lips. It's the key to everything they've built. Every weapon, every lie, every hidden name. And now, he gasped for air. Now it's yours to protect. His head slumped. Emily screamed. Reese caught her. He's not dead, but we have seconds. We leave now. They escaped through a hidden tunnel beneath the house, Reese carrying Adrian over his shoulder. Emily gripping a gun she barely knew how to hold. By sunrise they were in the woods, miles away from civilization. Reese's off-grid cabin was small, secure, stocked like a military bunker. Adrian was stabilized. Barely. Emily sat on the floor. Numb. Reese stood over her, his expression unreadable. You were never just a nurse, he said. She looked up slowly. What am I then? He stepped closer. You're the only person who can expose them. The drive inside you holds secrets that could tear apart governments, corporations, even this city. Why me? She whispered. Why not just cut it out and be done with it? He crouched in front of her. Because your body encrypted it. It's fused with your DNA. Only you can unlock it. And only if you survive. And then, in the silence between them, his phone buzzed. One message, untraceable. No sender. Reese, read it. His face darkened. He handed it to Emily. They've taken someone. She read the message. We have her. If you want the girl alive, bring the nurse. Below that, a single image. Her best friend, Tara, tied to a chair, blood on her cheek. Emily's breath caught. No. Reese's jaw clenched. They've changed the game. The exchange note had fallen again during the night, this time in soft silence like the world was trying to cover its sins. But inside Reese Maddox's off-grid cabin, the air was anything but peaceful. Emily sat on the wooden floor, hands clenched tightly around a crumpled photo of Tara, her best friend since nursing school. The image on Reese's phone haunted her, Tara tied to a chair, duct tape over her mouth, blood trickling from her temple. She has nothing to do with this, Emily whispered. Reese stood near the fireplace, his back to her still, calculating, like he always was when danger pressed in. They don't care, he said. They're using her to get to you, because now they know they can't find the drive. Without you. Emily looked up, her voice raw. Then give me to them. Reese turned sharply, eyes burning. No, Reese, absolutely not. She'll die. So will you. She stood now, fire in her chest. Then what? We hide forever. Run until they pick us off one by one. I'm working on a plan, he said, too calmly. But I won't lose you. You don't own me, she snapped. His jaw tightened, but his voice softened. No, but I need you alive. Their eyes locked. 100 emotions swirled between them. Fear, pain, confusion, and something unspoken. Then Adrian's groan from the next room broke the moment. Emily rushed to his side. He was still pale, still bleeding inside, but awake, barely. You saw the message, he rasped. She nodded, blinking back tears. It's my fault, he murmured. I should have gone to them. I should have never dragged you into this. They already dragged me. I just didn't know it. Adrian tried to sit up. Reese stepped in, gently pushing him down. You're in no shape to move, Reese said. Let us handle it. You'll never get Tara out without giving them what they want. Emily looked between the two men. One was her father, barely clinging to life. The other, Billionaire, whose past was locked behind more doors than she could count. And both had been lying to her in some way. Then we go to them, Emily said, but on my terms. 12 hours later, abandoned steel yard. Edge of the city. The meeting location was untraceable on abandoned industrial site, all rusted beams and broken concrete. Security drones buzzed faintly in the air. Reese had arranged for backup, but none of them could enter the zone without putting Tara's life at risk. Emily was wearing a bulletproof vest under her coat, her hair pulled back, face grim. Reese stood beside her in a black jacket, armed, silent. The van pulled up slowly in front of them, tires crunching over the gravel. A man stepped out. Tall, grey hair, impeccable black suit. He smiled like a serpent. Ms. West, or do you still go by Emily Cole? She stiffened. Where is she? Patience. His voice was laced with mockery. Do you have what we came for? Reese stepped forward. We're not handing her over without proof of life. The man motioned to guards, dragged Tara forward. Her eyes were swollen, but she was alive. Barely. Emily tried to rush forward, but Reese's hand shot out, stopping her. Let her go, he growled. Only after we verify, the man replied. Nodding at a tech in the van, the man pulled out a sleek black device scanner with a syringe. Emily knew what it was. They were going to check if the data was still inside. You'll have to come closer, the man said to Emily. And don't worry, it won't hurt much. Reese leaned in. Don't do it. They'll never let you walk away. She's my friend, Emily said. This ends now. She stepped forward. The tech held the device to her neck just under her ear. A green light blinked. Confirmed. The tech said. The man smiled. Good girl. Then everything happened at once. Gunshots, screams, smoke. From above. Hidden men opened fire. Chaos erupted. Emily grabbed Tara and pulled her behind a steel crate. Stay down, she shouted. Reese tackled one of the guards. Another aimed at Emily. She ducked, but the bullet grazed her shoulder. Pain exploded down her arm. Emily. Reese's voice roared through the smoke. Get out now. She dragged Tara toward the exit, ignoring the blood, ignoring the chaos. Behind her. Reese fought like a man possessed. One of the masked attackers lunged at him. Man was shot point blank. Later, safe house bunker, deep underground. Emily's arm was bandaged. Tara slept in a room down the hall, bruised but safe. Reese hadn't spoken a word since they returned. He stood staring at the monitor screen, fists clenched. You okay, Emily? Asked quietly. He nodded once. We bought some time. Not much. They'll come again, won't they? Yes. She sat beside him. Why are they so desperate for this drive? What's really on it? Reese exhaled, then opened a locked drawer beneath the screen. Inside, a single USB drive. This is the backup, he said. A decoded fragment. He plugged it in a video-loaded grainy surveillance footage. Emily leaned closer. What she saw made her stomach twist. Executions, illegal bioweapon tests, government officials shaking hands with known traffickers, children in cages, everything hidden, everything evil, and all of it traceable to one global syndicate, the Orion Directive. They own everything, Reese said. Pharmaceuticals, prisons, defense hospitals. Emily echoed. He looked at her. Your hospital was one of them. That's why they planted the patient you saw. That's why your file was flagged. And my father? She asked, almost dreading the answer. He tried to expose them. That's why they killed him. Or tried to. Why didn't you ever go public? She whispered. Reese's voice lowered. Because no one would believe me. But they might believe. You. Why me? Because you're not rich. You're not powerful. You're real. And because you've bled for it. Later that night, Emily stood in the hallway, watching Reese from the doorway. His shirt was untucked, hair tousled, eyes hollow. He looked like a man worn thin. Why did you really help me, Reese? She asked. He didn't turn around. Because I saw you on that screen, standing at that bus stop, soaked in the snow, completely alone. And I realized he turned now. His voice broke. I knew what it felt like to stand in the middle of a world you didn't understand, and feel like no one was coming. But you came, she whispered. He took a step toward her. And I will again, every time. He reached out, gently brushing her hair from her face. For a second, everything faded. The drive, the danger, the blood. There was just warmth, just him. Just her. But before their lips could meet, the alarm went off. High priority breach. Reese's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and his face went white. "What?" Emily asked, fear creeping in. "They've taken your father." Final Adrian was gone. The clinic where he was recovering had been blown apart, traces of mercenaries and tampered footage. Only one message left behind, a voice message, cold, robotic, threatening. "You want him back, nurse. Come alone, tomorrow, midnight. Coordinates sent." Emily stared at Reese, trembling. "They want me to choose. And they know you will." Reese stepped forward, placing his hands on her shoulders. "But this time, they don't know what's coming." Her eyes locked with his. "I'm done running, Reese. I'm done being protected. If this ends tomorrow, then I go in prepared. You won't be alone, I know. But when I walk through that door, I need them to see me. Not the victim, not the bait. The woman who survived it all." Her name was Emily 3. Emily uncovered the truth about her identity, the secret embedded in her body, and the global syndicate known as the Orion Directive. After a botched exchange and saving her best friend, Terra, she learns that her biological father, Adrian, has been abducted again. A final message dares her to come alone. Now, it ends. Midnight, the abandoned research lab. The building sat in the dead forest, like a decaying corpse. Charred walls, cracked windows, barbed fences bent open like claws. It had once been a medical testing facility, long forgotten by the public, but never by the men who ran the world from behind curtains. Emily stood at the front gate, alone. Her breath hung in the cold night air. Her boots crunched softly across the gravel. Beneath her coat, she carried no weapons, only a chip wired into a hidden capsule near her spine. The same chip they'd been hunting all along. She wasn't shaking, not anymore. Inside, floodlights flickered. A man waited for her in the main corridor. Grey suit. Calm smile. The same one who had orchestrated Tara's kidnapping. "You came," he said, almost amused. "You took my father," Emily replied. "You know I'd come." Of course, loyalty always makes people predictable. He motioned for her to follow. They walked down a hallway that smelled like bleach and old blood. She could hear machines humming in the distance, computers crunching secrets buried for decades. They entered a small observation room. Behind the glass, Adrian strapped to a chair, blood on his lip, electrodes on his chest, alive but barely. "Let him go," she said. The man nodded to a technician. "After you do something for us." He pulled out a surgical kit. "Slim, sterile tools. We need the drive. From you." She took a breath. "You think I'm just going to let you carve me open? We have no intention of hurting you. If you cooperate, and if I don't." The man leaned in. "You've already lost a mother. Are you ready to lose your father too?" She stared at him, hard, then smiled faintly. "You made one mistake." "Oh, you think I came alone?" The man froze, and then boom, an explosion shook the eastern wing of the compound. The lights cut out. Emergency sirens wailed. Smoke filled the corridor in the chaos. Emily moved fast, trained, controlled. Reese had taught her well. She slammed her elbow into the technician, grabbed his keycard, and swiped it against the release panel. The door buzzed. Adrian collapsed forward into her arms. "Dad, can you move?" "Trying," he rasped, weak but conscious. She hauled him up, guiding him through the smoke as footsteps thundered behind them. "Unit 3, they're escaping." Reese's voice crackled in her earpiece. "Exits in the north hall cut through the server room." "Copy," Emily whispered. She dragged Adrian forward, turning down the nearest corridor. The server room glowed with blinking lights and humming racks. She paused. "We can end it here," she muttered. "Emily Reese, patch me into your remote server. I'm uploading the entire drive." "That's suicide." "No, it's justice." She slipped the capsule from under her skin, had moved it there days ago, inserted it into the server's central port. The system lit up. "Transfer in progress. 12%, 37%. Bullets tore through the glass. Above, Emily ducked, covered Adrian's body with her own. "Hold on just a little longer." The screen hit 100%. "Upload complete." Reese's voice came back in her ear. "Got it. We're going live in 60 seconds. Get out, now." The world changes in 60 seconds. The power flickered, then shut down completely. Every screen in the facility and then around the world blinked on with the same image, a symbol Emily didn't recognize, a red eye within a triangle. Then footage, the Orion directives, secret files, politicians laundering billions through hospitals, drug tests run on homeless patients. Global arms deals disguised as health research. Doctors paid to misdiagnose patients for profit. All of it. Streaming, globally. Unstoppable. The man in the grey suit ran down the corridor, screaming into his earpiece, "Shut it down. Kill the feed." But it was too late. The truth had already burned through the firewall. Watch. The world was watching. 3 hours later, safe house rooftop. Emily sat alone, watching dawn creep across the skyline. Her father was asleep inside, recovering. Tara was nearby, refusing to leave her side. And Reese, he stood beside her, silent. "It's over," she said softly. "For now," he replied. "But they'll try to rebuild. Then, we keep tearing it down." He looked at her, a rare softness in his features. "You're not who I thought you were, Emily. A scared nurse. No, a woman who changed the world." She smiled faintly. "I didn't want any of this. I just wanted to survive. And you did. More than that, you gave people hope." He stepped closer. "What now?" she asked. He didn't answer with words. Instead, he took her hand. "Warm, steady, real. We rebuild," he said quietly. "Together, if you'll let me." She looked at him, at the man who had once been just a stranger in a car, at the man who watched her suffer, and instead of walking away, pulled her into something terrifying and beautiful. "Then stay," she said. He smiled. "Always." 6 weeks later, final scene. The news called it the unmasking. Governments fell. Executives were arrested. Whistleblowers finally found the courage to speak. Survivors came forward, and Emily Shell went back to the hospital. Not as a nurse, as the new director of patient ethics. She walked the same halls that had once ignored her. But now, everyone stopped to look. Not because she was beautiful, or rich, or connected, but because she had faced monsters and lived. Final words, in an interview. When asked how it all began, Emily smiled at the camera and said, "I was freezing on a bus stop bench, and a stranger stopped his car and said, 'You're mine now.' I thought it meant I was losing control of my life, but I didn't lose it. I found it. He didn't save me. We saved each other." The end.